Well, a massive cleanup is underway throughout Maryland after a pair of tornadoes touched down last night, killing 2 people. One of the hardest hit areas was Mount Airy in Carroll County. The National Weather Service confirmed it was an EF1 tornado that hit the area, causing extensive damage. The storm was so strong it caused the roof of a TJ Maxx and Home Goods to partially collapse, dumping water into the store. Over in Dundalk, winds ripped the roof off of these 2 apartment buildings. Fortunately, no one was hurt, but dozens of people were left homeless. And not too far away in southeast Baltimore, 2 men are dead after the 100-mile-per-hour winds caused an Amazon distribution center to partially collapse last night. Devin Bartolotta has the new details just released and cell phone video from the moments after the storm.
This is Maryland's first fatal tornado in 16 years, and it hit hard, rolling semi-trucks, blowing out windows, uprooting trees, and ultimately killing 2 people.
Oh my gosh, there's my truck.
The Amazon warehouse was hit at 105 miles per hour. This video showing the horrifying aftermath of a rare EF1 tornado that tore through southeast Baltimore and killed 2 workers.
2 lives have been taken. You know, and we can't control when Mother Nation want to open up.
The National Weather Service says around 10 p.m. Friday, a tornado carved a 2.5-mile path of destruction. Its maximum wind speeds peeling off the warehouse roof and toppling an 8-inch thick concrete wall.
Well, it's a very labor-intense type situation that we were going through here. Because of the heavy concrete, we had to bring in heavy equipment to assist us with this operation.
Fire officials pulled contract workers Andrew Lindsay and Israel Argoat from the rubble, but neither survived. Amazon said in a statement, quote, "We are incredibly thankful for the quick response from emergency services. Our thoughts and prayers go out to the families impacted by Friday evening's tragic event."
I don't know. It might be somebody I know. You know I don't know, but it's still surprising me.
Tyrese Sampson knows he's lucky. He hopped on a bus just minutes before the tornado swept down Holabird Avenue.
The rain started pouring out of nowhere, like heavy started pouring. Then I noticed like the lights were flickering in the building.
He says those packing pallets and loading trucks inside
This is amazing.
likely had no idea deadly weather was on its way. Investigators were on scene all night and all day, making sure there was no one else in the rubble, although no one else is reported missing. I'm Devin Bartolotta reporting for WJZ.
Now, just down the street from that Amazon facility, there was similar damage where that same tornado, well, it destroyed parts of an apartment complex in Dundalk. Tonight, dozens of people are left homeless.
Friday night's tornado came through quick, but only needed minutes to leave a devastating impact, ripping off the roof of these 2 apartment buildings in Dundalk.
My daughter called me and said that our building had been hit by a tornado.
Lisa Powell and her daughter Sarah are just 2 of 64 that have now been displaced.
Homeless. Yeah. I feel homeless. Very bad homeless. I never had to feel like this before.
The National Weather Service says the tornado touched down one last time at the complex along Fort George's Court. Some residents were left with nowhere to go.
Well, I have my mother-in-law, and she's on hospice, and she can't get up out of the bed. So they took her straight to the hospital.
Ahmed El-Said says the wind was like nothing he's ever seen.
I feel like it's just the world is going to be end.
As he rushed to check on his neighbor.
My neighbor just like he's sleeping and just keep knocking his door. And just like, you know, his roof is not there.
Fortunately, no one was injured. The Red Cross now assisting the 40 adults and 24 children that are left homeless, providing meals, shelter, and counseling.
As you might guess, any disaster, often is a major upset to someone's life.
The wrath of Mother Nature, these families say they won't let get the best of them.
But we'll get through it. That's what we do.
And we mentioned one of the hardest hit areas was Mount Airy in Carroll County. Well, today, the National Weather Service confirmed a second tornado touched down last night. Now, no one was hurt, but the tornado caused extensive damage to buildings and homes. Tracy Leong has the latest on the recovery there.
Heavy storm slammed Mount Airy Friday evening. Now, fortunately, no one was injured, but it did cause extensive damage to buildings and homes. Emergency crews rushed to the TJ Maxx and Home Goods in Mount Airy after intense rain and strong wind whipped through the shopping center around 9 Friday night. On Saturday morning, officials began to assess the damage.
We had a partial roof collapse and a ceiling collapse throughout the store, dumping water and everything within the store. The building officials from Carroll County have condemned the store for now until they can do further research.
Cell phone video captured by a TJ Maxx customer shows the impact from inside.
The water started coming through, just pouring in. Things were falling down. Big pieces of the ceiling were coming down and making a lot of noise. And people started screaming and running.
An uncommon force of nature for Carroll County.
A small micro tornado, maybe once every 5 to 10 years. And usually we're lucky it hits in rural areas where there's trees. In this case, it hit population centers and destroyed commercial buildings and homes.
Across the area, crews are busy cleaning up the damage, but for those who lost power, it could take several days before it's fully restored.
The brutal weather caused problems throughout Carroll County. Emergency responders were overwhelmed by the volume of calls that demanded additional resources.
We received assistance from many agencies throughout the area to help us get the roads back open and get everybody taken care of so that we wouldn't have further problems.
Now the focus is on the plan for recovery.
We'll look to see whether or not we can qualify for any type of state assistance. One of the things that concerns me is we might have some private homeowners that may have heavy trees down on their property blocking them in.
Building officials and inspectors are still looking over the damage. It's unclear if or when some of these places will reopen. I'm Tracy Leong reporting in Mount Airy for WJZ.
And we continue our coverage of the deadly severe storms with Meg McNamara, who is tracking the first 2 confirmed tornadoes of 2018 in Maryland.
The first tornado started in extreme northwest Howard County at 8:20 and tracked for almost 5 miles, ending in Mount Airy in Carroll County. The path of the twister was 400 yards wide, and at peak intensity, winds reached 100 miles an hour. Over an hour later, another EF1 tornado touched down, this time in Baltimore City at 9:42. The twister tracked east for 2.5 miles into Dundalk with a width of 150 yards. Peak winds with this storm reached 105.